I had a long journey of not empowering myself. And I spent years pouring into everybody else but myself. And I really had a mental low, kind of a breakdown. And I had to really just take a step back and say, I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of just getting up and living. I'm ready to thrive and elevate in every level. A lot of people didn't understand why I was saying no. They didn't understand why I was saying I wasn't available. Me telling somebody no that I have always said yes to hurt me so bad, but it had to be done because that was a way of reconditioning my entire life. Because again, I want to be number one on the totem pole now. I do not define myself as a strong woman because strong means that you don't want help. You don't want to be supported. I do. I have shifted that. I now define myself as a woman of strength. It's never too late to elevate. But you also have to realize that there is some work that is going to be involved in that. And it's going to involve more than you just saying that you're ready to make some changes. You have to be able to walk that walk. And that's going to be an ugly walk for a little bit. I don't know if the world is ready for it, but they need to be. Because we are a force to be reckoned with when we step into our higher self.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's conversation. You may have been watching the podcast videos, but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you have ever gained value from our videos, from our conversations, it would mean so much to us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now, or even just give us a like. And what that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it allows us to bring in more important guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's conversation. Welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing. Of course, my name's Sophia from Sacred You, but with me today we have the beautiful and the amazing Kisha Woods, who I am so excited to talk to you, Kisha. Thank you ever so much, because we're talking about a topic that is close to my heart, and that is all about empowering ourselves, empowering others, empowering women. Can we first start off and tell us about you and your amazing journey? How did you get to where you are now in helping others empower themselves?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It is such an honor. I'm definitely excited to chat with you more and share my story and share some powerful impact that I hope would be able to help others as well. But yes, I am Kisha. I go by Coach K. And I had a long journey of not empowering myself. And I spent years pouring into everybody else but myself. And 2020, that caught up to me mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and everything else. And it was time for me to make some shifts. I'm a cancer survivor. And even through that, I still was in people please mode, making sure everybody else was okay. I lost my sister in 2009 and acquired her two children as a result of that, and still never grieved. I just went into mom mode two more times with them. But I never really took the time out to address my own feelings, address my own emotions, and really try to do something about that. And the years of suppression really caught up with me in 2020. We were faced, so many uncertainties at that time. And that was the icing on the cake for me. And I really had a mental low, kind of a breakdown. And I had to really just take a step back and say, I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of just getting up and living. I'm ready to thrive and elevate and in every level. So March of 2020 began that journey. I ended up logging off of social media at a time where we could do nothing but be on social media. And I really took a 30-day fast to really just reflect on what I wanted, who I wanted to become, and what did that look like for me. And in the midst of me doing that, Upgraded Mindsets, the name was actually brought to fruition. And I was like, that's something that I want to do because I'm on this transformational journey for myself. I knew that I wanted to help other women do the same thing because I was always a supportive person, but I had to recondition my mind to not be at the expense of myself. So that's the journey that I saw. In June of 2020 was when Upgraded Mindsets became official. And I was like, I'm just going to be a part time thing. And in November of 2020, I was actually let go from my corporate job, which I know now that was all a part of my alignment, things that were supposed to happen. But since I was still uncertain at that time, I was scared out of my mind. But I did go ahead and step into coaching full time. And I have no regrets. I have transitioned from just a regular life coach helping women get clear on their personal goals to elevating into also the business side of things because I walked that journey. I became an entrepreneur and I had to deal with the personal side before I could elevate on the entrepreneur side. So that has transformed me into a life/business coach that helps women align their personal as well as their entrepreneurial purpose together so that it is really helping them live a purpose-driven life on all levels. So they are operating their business out of purpose. I do operate under the 4P pillars, which is passion, purpose, perseverance, and performance. And just really being able to help women excel all four of those things because that's how we can become the most empowering version of ourselves. So just really walking that journey, but still on my own journey is such a fulfilling experience for me. I'm just honored to be able to do it and be in the space.
Thank you ever so much for sharing that journey. And can I say that we are honored to have you here? And I just like to also honor you for one is for sharing the journey, but for helping others. Because we all live similar lifestyles. What you're talking about, you're speaking my language.
Mm-hmm.
So really just thank you for bringing your gifts, your passion and your perseverance to the world, sharing that with the world because the world is so much a better place.
Absolutely.
When we step into our power and when you stepped into your power. So
that is so true. And I love just the feeling of knowing that I do that on a daily. And we have your good days and you have your bad days. But the one thing that I do now is embrace those, embrace them all, understanding that it's a part of the process. There's not going to be perfect days, there's not going to be perfect times, but really understanding that I'm still going through it. I'm still being the best version of myself or walking that journey. It's such a sense of fulfillment. And I appreciate you pouring into me like that. I do. I used to not receive those things because I fell into that strong woman stigma. Oh, I don't need, I don't need anybody to tell me, but I do. And I receive that. So thank you.
And that's the biggest thing about like being able to receive.
Yes.
That so many people, especially women, don't allow themselves to receive. So it's such
true.
a thing. And thank you for sharing that example. I'd love to go into a little bit of what you said. Plus, I've got all sorts of other things to talk to you about. But you mentioned people pleasing. And people pleasing is something that I know a lot of women and also men, a lot of people experience, I'm not going to say suffer from. Some people actually do suffer from it, but experience, and a lot of people don't even know that they're a people pleaser.
Exactly.
So can we go into that? Can we go a lot deeper? Tell us about your experience with people pleasing. What effects did it have on your life? And how did you overcome it?
So, what you said is so true. Before my transformational journey began, I didn't realize that it was people pleasing. I had and I call it the outdated thinking, outdated mindset of, if I help everybody else, if I pour into us, I'll be blessed. I'll get my blessings that way. And not to say that doesn't have some truth to it, but what was happening is I was pouring into so many people and supporting people, whether I was being a listening ear, whether I was, they were depending on me for material things or simply a ride to and from work, just those simple things. Once I got home at night, I was depleted. So I didn't have time to think about what I wanted. And not being fulfilled was I suppressed that so much. But like I said, living in that outdated belief of, I have to be the low woman on the totem pole. I have to be at the end. And, that's going to allow me to be the best person because I'm just pouring into everybody else and doing what everybody else and being a yes, ma'am, and not saying no. And I had to learn because, again, mentally, it was a struggle. And I realized once I started getting angry at the drop of a dime, like I would get upset at the smallest things, right? Somebody could leave a piece of paper, and I'm a boy mom. So I have a son, and then my sister had two sons. So I had three boys in the house. And you can only imagine. But the smallest thing that they would do would literally just send me like off completely. I would just be so upset, so angry. And I knew that just wasn't right. Like them leaving a plate in the sink should not cause me to just be spazzing out in so many words. So I had to really take a look at that. And people were like, started asking me, like, what do you want to do? What are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm good, with just how things are flowing. But I wasn't good. I was just coasting. I was just waking up, going to work, making sure the boys were at a basketball practice or a football practice or a wrestling practice or the travel basketball leagues, like always going and coming. I was accommodating my friend, driving, getting off work, going to take them places. Sometimes not even, I'd get off work at 4 o'clock and sometimes wouldn't even get home till 8 or 9 because I've gone into people pleasing mode by going to take other people other places and do everything for everybody else. So when I got home at night, I was tired. And not only just physically tired, but I was becoming mentally tired. And the anger was just getting worse and worse. And I knew that there was something wrong. I am a joyous person. I have a very outgoing spirit and personality most of the time. And I wasn't seeing that as much. So I knew something was going on. And then 2020, like I said, was that moment where I literally was really thinking about causing harm. And it really got that bad for me. And I said, no, this isn't right. I've got to really make some changes and I've got to start today. And that's what I did. And I had to write a letter and I wrote a text message to my family. And I said, right now, I am really struggling and I need to take a step back from everybody because I don't know what's going to happen. And that was probably the most vulnerable I had ever been up until that point. And of course, they were, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? But they couldn't understand because I love my family, but they were a part of the problem. I was people pleasing with them too. So they really couldn't understand what I was dealing with. And that began that shift for me. And a shift it has been. And just really addressing the fact that I can still show up for people, but not over me, meaning I had to begin the journey of becoming the number one priority in my life. And I wasn't. I had spent years not being that number one priority. So I didn't know what that looked like. The uncertainty, the fear of making changes. We don't want to hurt people's feelings, but when we're on that journey, it's the priority of you. So I had to keep that at the forefront of the journey. And I still do to this day. Almost 5 years later, I still do to this day because I have to, because I am my number one priority. Now, what I have done is able to set the boundaries that needed to be set. I've been able to keep my mental aligned and embrace the vulnerabilities, embrace the uncertainties, work through the fears. And that's a journey all by itself. But it has allowed me to be more effective and more supportive to those who I supported at first, but now with boundaries. And that was hard because a lot of people didn't understand why I was saying no. They didn't understand why I was saying I wasn't available. You're not doing anything. I know. I'm not going to do anything. So just really setting those tones, and it hurt. And I want to be very transparent with that. Me telling somebody no that I have always said yes to hurt me so bad because I know it hurt them, but it had to be done because that was a way of reconditioning my entire life. Because again, I want to be number one on the totem pole now. And I'm going to do what I have to do to make that happen. The people guilt tripping me. Oh, I can't believe that's what you're doing. I can't believe that's what's happening. So it's been a journey, but I have no regrets and I love where I am right now. So it's just been just a journey in itself.
It has been, and thank you. And I can feel your energy.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, because I think it's something that everyone goes through in their life, to having that courage, that thing to say no, especially to family, especially to people that you love, that no, I need to look after myself. And it's not being selfish, it's actually being selfless, because how can we help others unless we help ourselves first? It's just,
that's the facts. We're so much more effective when we set those tones and get more disciplined with those things. Like you said, you're not trying to hurt feelings, but if we spent so much time worrying about everybody else's feelings, where does that leave us? So that's just how I think, how I live. And it's really paid off because, like I said, I've lost some people along the journey. I definitely want to share that as well. Me setting those boundaries and really enforcing them and prioritizing myself first. I did lose some people along the way, some long-term people, but I grieved those losses. So they didn't pass away. I grieved the ending of friendships, relationships. I took the time to grieve that because I didn't know what grief was, because it just was, as women, we're just supposed to keep going and stay strong. And I do not define myself as a strong woman. And people ask me why. And I say, because strong means that you don't want help. You don't want to be supported. I do. So I have shifted that. Instead of saying a strong woman, I now define myself as a woman of strength, because a woman of strength understands that it's okay to be vulnerable. A woman of strength understands it's okay to want to be supported and be encouraged and empowered and motivated just as much as you're giving it. So that's where I define myself now. And I just love it. It works for me.
Congratulations. Really,
Thank you.
really. I want to give you a great big, energetic, ethereal hug from the other side of the world.
Thank you. I receive.
I'd love to know, in your experience, in your personal experience, and also your professional experience, what do you think is the biggest misconception about transformation and stepping into your purpose and your own power?
I think the biggest misconception is that it can be done overnight. I feel like we see a lot of these things like on social media, we see the content, and I don't take away from creators that do that because I do it myself, but I think we get caught up in the aesthetics of things that we really don't want to do the work. We just want to say that we are. And I think that's a big misconception. And also understanding that this is an ongoing journey, because although I began my transformation in 2020, I am still on that journey, and I will always be on that journey, probably until the time it's time for me to leave the earth. And becoming a lifelong learner, having that mindset shift from a fixed mindset into the growth mindset, knowing that you can make changes. One of my favorite quotes is, "It's never too late to elevate." And because I have had conversations with dozens of women who are like, oh, it's too late for me. My kids are grown, and it's too late for me to do this, and it's too late. It is never too late to do that. But you also have to realize that there is some work that is going to be involved in that. And it's going to involve more than you just saying that you're ready to make some changes. You have to be able to walk that walk. And that's going to be an ugly walk for a little bit. So understanding that it's not pretty and it's more than the bubble baths and the sitting there with the candles and things like that, because I love those things. Don't get it twisted. But it's also involving you really figuring out where you're struggling at, where your energy zappers, what has caused you, what triggers you. Sometimes going back, one thing that I did and one thing that I have my clients do is write a letter to self. That's one of the first things that we do. And I give them the option to share with me or not, because I feel like it's like a therapeutic release for them, because it definitely was for me. But it's really just a letter of self, just talking about the things that you've gone through, what you feel like you could have changed. My letter was 6 pages back to back because I started from the present and worked my way back. That was a part of the beginning of the transformation. But I think, like I said, one of the biggest misconceptions is thinking that, oh, in 2 weeks, you're going to be okay. You're going to be transformed, when in all actuality, it is an ongoing process.
And I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. And I love your quote, it's never too late to elevate. In total,
Yes.
It is an ongoing process. And Kisha, if I can say this in the most lovingly way, don't transform too much, because the world needs you.
Thank you.
Because I also agree with you totally. It's a lifelong journey. And the moment that we no longer need to transform, the moment that we clear everything and become complete, is the moment we no longer need to be in this body, because we've learned all our lessons. I totally agree with that, but just don't do it too quickly.
I won't. I love the journey that I'm on, even through the obstacles and the uncertainties. And I've become a risk taker in sorts, whereas before I used to be scared to do anything. Those transformations have allowed me to really just step into my power and embrace that resilience that society here tells us that we aren't supposed to let it define us. And I just love that I'm able to step into that, but I don't let it hold me back. I don't let the struggles define me. I let me overcoming those be my speech.
Thank you. And talking about struggles, so many women struggle with self-doubt. When we're trying to pursue our passion, we don't know if what we're doing is what we're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
Do you have a personal story that you'd like to share of doubt that you faced? And how did you overcome that?
Being on this coaching journey, I didn't know that I was going to take on the business side of things. I said I'm a life coach and I help with personal clarity and really like adjusting the mindset, but that's kind of where I left it. And what was happening is the women that I was attracting, they were like, I'm thinking about starting a business. I'm thinking about this. I want to do this. And it was like, okay, so let's talk about that. So having that conversation, it was like, okay. And then I'm guiding them on the startup process, because that's really where my niche is, like really helping with the real startup process of entrepreneurship, like beyond the registrations and things like that, but really establishing why you want to start this business. Because a lot of times we will say we want a business, but really don't know why. We see it's trending, or we see that it's just something fun to do. And that's fine. If you just want to do something as a hobby, then I'm probably not the person for you. And I'm okay with that. But really just stepping into that side of things, saying, okay, I'm going to step into the business side. That was scary for me, because it was like, I haven't been an entrepreneur for 20 years to say I have all of this grand experience and that I just know every single thing. But because everything was still aligning to me and people were still approaching me to that degree, it was like, okay, Kisha, it keeps getting thrown at you. So you've got to really do something about that. Now it's time to reflect. I have no problem with reflecting on things that might come to me, signs that I might see. I will sit back and reflect so fast because I'm mindful. I'm very much more mindful. And sometimes I know that if things are coming to me, it may not be something to implement right at that exact moment, but I still need to reflect and see if it's something that's supposed to be in alignment with me eventually. So it was like, okay, do I want to step into this business side, or I just want to keep on talking about the personal side of things? And it was just too many signs occurring. And I was like, okay, so let's talk about the business side. So the one lady that the first client that I actually acquired from the business perspective, she actually came to me about something totally different that wasn't even aligned with coaching or anything. She came to me because I do have my office location that we do kind of print services and stuff here. So she came to me something that wasn't even related to coaching. And I said, oh, so that's what you're trying to do? I said, you know what? Let's have a conversation. I'd love to hear more about it. And ever since then, it's just been a flow of that happening, like asking the right questions as far as what she wants to do, why she wants to do it. And as soon as I ask the why, that's when we get to the nitty gritty. So, me really like being bold and asking her to sit down and have a conversation with me, somebody that really didn't have a lot of entrepreneur experience, but my own. That was one of the fears that I worked through because I didn't think that I'd be able to do it. But it's been one of the biggest pivots since I've been in business. And I'm just so grateful that I took that leap.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Totally hearing you. So many people in today's world start out on businesses, on doing the what and the how, how to do that, and completely forgetting about the why.
Yes.
And I really believe that once we know the why and we're really strong on the why, then the how is taken care of.
It does. Oh my God. It's so easy. But once you establish the why, because now you can create your plan around the why. And there's trial and error, obviously, when it comes to starting a business and trying to pivot in it. But knowing your why, you'll always be able to go back to that, even on the days of discouragement and the days that you may not have made a sale. You're always going to go back to the why. And one thing that I also share with my clients is we can't go into this for the money first. I understand we definitely want to make money. We definitely do. But starting a business has to have that grit behind it. You've got to be dedicated in understanding that you might not make money out the first year or 2 years within this business, but you've also got to know that it's a long-term thing and always go back to the why. If you're making t-shirts, why are you making t-shirts? What impact do you want to make with your t-shirts? What's the meaning behind the quote that may be on your t-shirt? Dream, create, inspire. That's what I do. So anything that you see me wearing, it's got meaning behind it because it's something that I want to do, something that I want to encourage others to do. That's my why.
It's so important to be clear on the why. In your experience, what are some of the biggest fears that women have when stepping into their journey of being an entrepreneur?
Fear judgment. I think that a lot of times women are scared that people aren't going to approve necessarily of what they're doing or what they have, what product or service they want to offer. I also feel like a lot of times the biggest fear is failure.
Yeah.
And those are probably two of the biggest things that I could say is because we are worried about others judging us. And then we are worried about it not working. But though both of those things you still have to work through because again, those people are not your why. So you're worried about outside judgment and outside influence. But I have literally seen where that has completely stopped women from even starting stuff. I had a consultation with a client or potential client a few months ago, and she had so many great creative ideas. I was so excited to work with her. And we followed up, we did onboarding and everything. And then she was like, okay, I'll get back with you. And I haven't heard from her. So I finally reached out and sent the email like, hey, I just want to follow up and see if you had any questions. And she finally told me, she was like, I talked to my sister and my cousin about it. And they were like, why are you doing that? You shouldn't do, this, that, the other. And they really discouraged her and she just gave up. And I was like, no. So, those that are close to us, like our family and friends, we want their approval so bad. And not just from a business perspective, but an overall perspective, which can be a hindrance as well. But her failing, that fear of failure also came in because that's what they were embedding into her head. What if it doesn't work? What if that, who you think is going to like that? But what I have learned is people that come to people that have no creativity, that they're not on any form of a growth journey, they're not going to understand. And those are probably your biggest haters. They're not going to be the ones that encourage you to keep going because sometimes they don't want to see you be successful in something. So I think those are the two things that I would definitely say are the biggest things.
Yes, and fear of failure is huge. Yes. A lot of people, especially when you first start up, because there are so many unknowns. Yep. And that, from my experience too, with working with people that we do, is it's what holds you back.
Yeah.
Because we know that the more we think about the what ifs,
yes,
the more the what ifs can actually happen.
Yeah. What if it doesn't? But what if it does?
Yeah.
Yep. What if it does?
It's a very big one. So thank you. And again, thank you for helping others to overcome those fears and to step into their powers.
I appreciate that.
No problem. And now for you, Kisha, in your life, what are some tips or techniques? What are some daily practices that you do in your life to keep going, to keep you motivated? We live in a challenging world.
Yes.
Especially being a mum of 3 boys and an entrepreneur and helping others. What keeps you going?
Honestly, I do have daily routines that I try to stick to. The first thing for me is in the morning. The first 30 minutes is all about me. No matter what it is, no matter what I'm doing, I do not grab my phone. Now, I can't say my record is 100% on that. I'm going to be transparent, but the goal is my first 30 minutes a day are all about me. So whether that is prayer, meditation, journaling, talking to myself out loud, affirmations, because that sets my tone for the day. What I find and what I tell my clients is we are definitely living in the world of technology. However, when you grab your phone, as soon as you wake up in the morning, you're taking in that energy from whatever you're seeing on social media. So you can get on there, and the first thing is someone you may have known has passed away. So now you are taking on that energy for the day. That energy is going to roll with you all day. So if you haven't set up, your barrier, your affirmations barrier, whatever that looks like for you. And I tell my clients to start with 15 minutes. Some start with 10, some start with 15. I've gotten up to 30. Sometimes it could be longer. On any given day, I could be meditating for 30 minutes by itself. That first 30 minutes is so crucial because our brains are the most active when we first wake up. And I already have an overactive brain. So when I wake up, there's so many things on my mind. So I utilize that with my 30 days of self-reflection or 30 minutes of self-reflection. And then after that, then I've set the tone for the day. I look at my calendar. I work the most in the morning because my brain is very much more active then. But I also go by the 1440 rule. So there are 1,440 minutes in a day. And a lot of times we will go off of 24 hours. And that's fine. But the 1440 rule helps me be able to be more disciplined in my daily tasks, my activities, when it's time for me to take time out. And I also self-affirm all day, every day. I could be in my car and I will be at a stoplight and I will look in my reflector mirror and say, "Ooh, those earrings look good on you today. Oh, you got a lot of stuff done today. Kudos to you. Pat yourself on the back, girl. You did a great job today." I will tell myself that because those are the words that I want to hear, but it's also training my mind to keep the positivity going and not let the negative, because we know the negatives will try to take over. So I recommend affirming yourself daily, if not multiple times a day. Sticky notes, if you see behind me, I know they're blurred, but those are stickers that have affirmations or positive words of encouragement. I have words of positivity all over my office, just ways to keep me inspired and to keep me motivated. So for myself, that is something that I definitely would recommend, is to just make sure that you have policies in place to congratulate yourself. Don't dim your shine. If you something small, whether you got a dollar raise at work, whether you ate a salad today instead of a burger, celebrate those things. Don't dim that. And that's something that I do on a daily. I will celebrate any and every little thing. And I really tell my clients to do the same thing. That's what it's about for us, because us celebrating ourselves is going to continue to boost our confidence, to continue to make those moves, to continue to take those risks and be the most empowering version of ourselves. So just my word and life hack would be just to affirm that you are amazing every single day. And if you have to tell yourself that 12 times a day, that's totally fine. And say it out loud. Don't think it, speak it. Tell yourself out loud.
Thank you. I'm just writing all this down every day. And it makes so much difference when you actually hear yourself speaking.
Yes, absolutely. Makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. Now, you're also an author.
I am.
So tell us about that.
So From Havoc to Healing, 30 Days of Reconditioning is a book that I published in 2023. And it literally is the first 30 days of my journey. So as I shared earlier, I did that 30-day fast in 2020. And during that 30-day fast, I journaled every day. I journaled my thoughts. I journaled what was going on in my head. I journaled what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be, how I seen myself. And in 2022, I went back and I read that journal and I said, this is something that could help others, because it's so transparent and it's just me talking about my feelings, but also what I was doing at that time to begin that transformational journey. So it carries the 30 days of my journal, but then it also has pages of blank self-reflection pages for those who read it to also reflect, to see if things that they were experiencing similar thoughts and what they do on day 7 or something like that. And like I said, I published it in February of 2023 and it became an Amazon bestseller. And I was just super proud of that. And I didn't realize that was something that would be such a pivotal tool in helping people begin that transformational journey. But also so many women reached out and emailed me and was on my website and sent messages just saying how the book actually has helped them. I had a lady that actually was on another podcast and she sent me the clip of her just talking about the book. She said, I didn't expect what I got from the book. She said, but it really helped me begin the journey of self-confidence and prioritizing myself. And that's what it was about for me. Just being able to show women that we can be our number one priority and we should be our number one priority. Even as a wife, even as a mother, even as a mom and a sister, we are still, because us being the best versions of ourselves is going to help them. I'm just proud of that book. I'm actually in the process of writing another, which is more of a kind of a tell-all for myself. So hoping to have that released sometime in 25. Yeah, it's been and it still sells. So I'm just grateful to be able to offer that like a life hack for people to be able to see that it's okay to experience this. I talk about the friendships that at that time I didn't know that were going to end, that ended in day 5 to be exact. I just basically said, I know there are going to be some people who are not going to approve of these shifts that I'm trying to make, but I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me. And that literally happened. So knowing that, but actually writing it before it happened, that told me that I'm doing the right thing. So
again, congratulations.
Thank you
on making those shifts, and congratulations on being an author. Now, we will be putting all your links below. So for everyone who is watching or listening, do check out Kisha's website where her books are available, which I'm looking at right now. So I'm going to be checking them out myself as soon as we finish chatting, because I think, like I said, I think you are a very inspirational woman.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
And for you, Kisha, what does it mean to be unapologetic? How can you unapologetically step into your purpose? And how can someone really start to embody that today?
Visualizing what that looks like. I think that we must visualize what our best self is, and acting like that you're already living that. Because that's one thing that I had to do, is really just act like that. I've never suffered with low self-esteem per se, but stepping into my power, becoming a coach and empowering other women has just been such a fulfilling experience for me that I don't care who doesn't like it. And I think that we have to get ourselves into the mindset of not caring who doesn't like it. Because out of the 5 people that may not like it, there's going to be 10 that does. And just really knowing that, having that mindset that I'm not here to please the masses. I'm here to help those who want to be helped, who want to be empowered, uplifted, inspired, who want to begin their businesses and become purpose driven in them. I'm not worried about those who don't. So, whatever journey that someone is on, whether it is transitioning to another job, maybe it's a job that's making less money, but it's more fulfilling to you. You can't let others tell you, don't quit that job because you make more money, but you're stressed at that job. You are working 60 hours a week at that job. You don't have any time for yourself at that job. So it's a holistic balance that you want to embrace. And you've got to be unapologetic in telling people, you know what? Be quiet. I got this. And if you don't like it, you don't have to come along with the journey with me. And, once you start doing that, those that are supposed to be there will be there. And that's one of the biggest things I had to realize too. I couldn't bring people with me that weren't ready to take their own journey on. And sometimes we will bear other people's problems because we're close to them or we've been friends and family for years, but that's not your place to do. Don't let anyone throw their insecurities on you. And when you see that happening, you take a step back and you tell them, nope, I'm going to do it anyway. That's the level of unapologetic that I would love to see all of us women be, because the power that comes in that, this world, I don't know if the world is ready for it, but they need to be, because we are a force to be reckoned with when we step into our higher self and our unapologetic self. And I am very unapologetic in the journey that I'm on, and just teaching women how to be the same way. And also knowing that once they step into that unapologetic being, they're going to attract those that are supposed to be there with them. So that I have done that. I have an amazing tribe of people walking in this journey. Yep, I lost some, but I have gained some. And when I tell you, they are the most supportive, they're the most encouraging. They give me the constructive criticism that I need. They don't go off of emotion. I don't go off of emotion because I trust them. And they are part of the reason why I continue to walk the journey, because I know that I have a very solid tribe when it comes to helping me continue to elevate in my life.
And you certainly need those people around you.
Yes.
But again, I like how you say, you're here for you. And if other people aren't ready to come on that same journey, their journey of growth, then they are going to fall away. But that's okay,
Yes.
because you will
It
attract
is.
who are.
Yep. It is truly okay. And it is. And like I said, it's okay to grieve that too. And it's not saying that there has to be ill will and anger and madness associated with that. But when you're stepping into that journey for you, it's for you. So whoever doesn't get that and understand that, well, hopefully they'll be able to catch theirs, but you can't let that stop you.
You can't, because after all, we're the only ones that live with ourselves 24/7.
Absolutely.
So we have to do what we need to do for us to empower ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to know, Kisha, from your point of view, what is one simple but yet powerful question that we can ask ourselves daily to help us align with our path of well-being?
Am I living a fulfilled life? And what I'm doing giving me a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment? And that could be as simple as going to a beauty salon. It could be something as simple as getting the right color on your fingernails. Do you get a sense of fulfillment from that beautiful red color on your nails? Do you get a warm and fuzzy feeling? Am I living a life of satisfaction and fulfillment? And if I'm not, what steps can I take to make that happen? That's a deep question, but it's a question that we really do need to be asking ourselves, because us not living with a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment means we're not living. We're just here. We're existing. And I want us to live. I want us to thrive. I want us to be the best version of ourselves. And that's going to require you asking yourself those hard questions. So, are you living a satisfied and fulfilled life? Are your daily activities reflecting that? Are you saying that, oh my God, yes, I was very productive today now? Because there's a difference between busy and productive. So, are you living a productive life? Is your life productive? And being productive means that you are walking in your purpose and being fulfilled. The smallest things could fulfill. I love a mango smoothie. That gives me such a sense of fulfillment. Now, do I need them all the time? Probably from the restaurants, no. Making my fresh ones, probably, yeah. But I drink coffee a lot. I love Dunkin' Donuts here. And that gives me a sense of fulfillment sometimes. Just being unapologetic and doing what it is that you want to do and just not worrying about what anybody else has to say.
I love that. Thank you. And ditto to the mango smoothies. It has been an absolute joy talking to you, Kisha. Absolutely.
You as well.
Before we wrap up, is there any other question that I could have asked you?
No, actually, I think that you've just been a great host. I thank you so much for allowing me to share and just giving my insight. And hopefully, these words will definitely touch someone to be able to begin the journey of transformation, because that's what's so important. And as I say, it's never too late for us to elevate. Just ask yourself, what's your why? That's the one thing I want to leave you guys with. Ask yourself, what's your why? Why do you want it? What is it going to give you? What fulfillment are you going to gain? And I think that just being in that space is going to be just the pivotal step that everyone needs to step it up. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. I just truly enjoyed speaking with you today, and I appreciate you so much for having me.
Likewise, and I do look forward to chatting with you again one day. And for everyone out there who is watching, do yourself a favor. First of all, click on the links, check out Kisha's website and everything that she's got available, and connect. You are an amazing woman, Kisha, and I know that you're first of all, you're living your purpose. No doubt about that. And I know you're going to bring life and opportunities to so many more women in our world. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
What an insightful and inspiring conversation this has been. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Kisha for sharing her wisdom into being unapologetic whilst empowering other women to rise up. Her story is a beautiful reminder that it is never too late to elevate. And to all our listeners, if Kisha's words and work has sparked something within you, take the next step and experience the magic for yourself by clicking on those links below. Here at Sacred You, we are committed to creating a space where women from all over the world can support, uplift, and empower each other. If you are looking for a supportive community that empowers you on your journey, join us. Be part of a global movement dedicated to self-discovery, transformation, and empowerment. Visit our website to explore upcoming workshops, events, and community offerings. Check us out at www.sacredu, that's the letter U, .love. And as always, if this episode spoke to you, please subscribe to our podcast, share it with a friend, or leave us a review. And in Kisha's words, remember to ask yourself, what is your why? Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, stay grounded, and from our hearts to yours, thank you.